Gewoonlik as dinge intimate raak, dan stoot ze my weg. Gooi jouself in jou werk in. Dis hoe jy met jou trauma koop. Dis nie algemene kennis dat binneland die munisipale water laat toets het nie.
So, waar kom die gerugte dan vandaan?
Presies wat ek wil weet.
Ek het nou al oral probeer slaap, van die bank tot die spaarkamer. Ek kan dit nie escape nie.
Dan moet jy maar by my kom slaap.
Sê my, het jy hom net getackle en hom begin vry of was daar like 'n bilde?
Dit was nie so nie, okay?
Weird. Send it back off. Zo wil het eens zien.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to The Price of Fame. This is Season 2, Episode 2. My name is Lunga Tshuka, and I'll be your host. And tonight's guest, ladies and gentlemen, is an actor, producer, writer, and MC. Born and raised in Paarl, Western Cape, but now resides among the stars. You might recognize him for his notable roles that he played in popular TV shows such as Binnelanders, High Rollers, Roer Jou Voete, Cooking Magic, Laan, and trust me, the list goes on and on and on. But he's here tonight so we can get into all of that. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome to the screen. He goes by the name of Bradley Oliver. Yeah!
Big L.
Ooh. Bradley, good evening, brother. How are you doing?
Listen, if ever I go into boxing or MMA or anything stupid like that, I'm going to let you be my announcer, man. It's got to be you.
I got your back. I got your back. Weighing under 55 pounds. He's done amazing shows and hit TV shows.
Weighing in at too much as he should be at his age.
Nah, it's all the heavyweights that you've been doing, all the heavy hitters that you've been doing over the years, you know, they come at a price.
Yeah, they come at a price, yeah.
We have to get it because that's a price of fame, you know what I'm saying? So we better get into it.
Price of fame goes to the tummy, yeah, if you're not careful.
Hilarious, man. How are you doing, man? How are you this evening?
I'm lekker, man. I'm well. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited to be here. You know what's funny? You know the title of your show, The Price of Fame, and I'm one of those actors who don't consider himself a celebrity, but I thought, you know what? It will be a fun interview, so I'm going to do it for those reasons, not because I think I'm actually famous. Other people think so.
I feel like a lot of our local celebrities are very, very humble because, like, I mean, if you are recognizable, you're noticeable. If I can see you walk around, you know, and know exactly what you do, I consider you famous, you know. But a lot of people's like, no, you know. I like the humility, like the humility of the whole thing, of everyone trying to like play it cool and smooth. But come on, man, we all know that you ain't no regular people.
Yeah, you know, I've been known to be recognized, you know.
Yeah. Hey, look there. Okay, it's such a modest way of saying it. I've been known to be recognized.
Yeah, man.
Be honest,
yeah.
Tell us, you just can't go to the gym anytime. You just can't go to the shop anytime. You have to like see coordinate.
You know, South Africa is still fine. Yeah, if I go to Pretoria, I'm recognized. If I go back to Paarl or the Western Cape, you know, I'm recognized there a lot. Even in Joburg, but you know what? South Africa is not as bad. Is not the word that I'm looking for, but Namibia, because I'm often in Namibia. My girlfriend stays there. I'm also that side hosting acting workshops, etc. So there's like I can't go anywhere in that country without being recognized. That's crazy. South Africa's not even that bad, but Namibia, there's no privacy there.
Wow.
But I love it.
It must be really crazy. I mean, like I said earlier, you probably have to coordinate certain things, you know. Let me go earlier to do this, or let me go late to do that, or send someone to do this, or get this on delivery, you know. So it can be crazy.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that is the case sometimes when I would tell friends, you know, don't you want to go into this shop and then I'll bloom, you know, I'll be cool. right? Don't you just want to go grab this, or guys, maybe we shouldn't go there or there, because you know the other thing is, and I also learned this the hard way in Namibia, is you want to go out, you want to go have a good time. Next thing you know, everybody's buying you drinks, everybody's buying you shots. You start getting tipsy, people start taking pictures of you. Tomorrow you're tagged on Facebook and you're just like, I look bad, I look terrible, man. You know? So, sometimes you do need to.
It's so tricky because there's that part you always have to consider, you know, and sometimes people don't understand that you're just trying to protect your brand as well. It's not that you don't want to spend time with him, or you don't want to take a drink, or you don't want to take a certain picture at a certain time, you know, the evening, you know. Sometimes you don't understand that you're just trying to protect your brand, because at the end of the day, with people in your position, you know, it's easy for people just to attack and make their own assumptions and play it out, you know, in their own kind of way. So, and it's not good for us celebrities, you know, because we try to be authentic. We try to show, try to give you what we're good at, you know, all this other that we can't control.
And for us, man, I think
for that.
The reputation for us is so important, because I mean, we have seen such bad examples of public figures or celebrities with bad reputations, and you know, certain people just don't want to associate with a certain kind of lifestyle or a certain kind of behavior. So for some celebrities, that bad girl, that bougie girl, that bad boy persona, for some of them it works, because for some of them it actually helps with their kind of branding, that naughty side of celebrity. But then for us, especially us who are known to be on like family shows like Binnelanders, you know, mother, father, children, small kids, everybody watches you and they look up to you. And I've got so many kids, when they see me, then they just go crazy. And you also kind of want to protect that side of you. You understand? So yeah, it's actually it's not always easy to coordinate. Yeah.
No, it's so true, because I mean, just last week I had an interview with a content creator, a girl named Cassidy, and she also spoke of the importance of having your social media kind of like clean, because it's kind of like your CV these days, you know. And people also look at what you're doing, what you're getting up to, and they judge everything, you know. You can be how professional in your work field, but if you're like showing that you're partying, or you're showing that you're getting drunk all the time, or you're showing just like a weird kind of lifestyle, you know, people might just, you know, associate the two and then be like, they just judge you on the whole, you know. So it's very important.
But also, I mean, brands look at you as well, you know, because they follow you on social media. I think, you know, posting a pic with a beer while you're having a meal, or one shooter just at a decent place having a good time, that's not going to destroy your reputation, because we are adults. But how you handle alcohol on social media and in the public is important, because now there's brands that you maybe want to approach and say, listen, for instance, I need a vehicle for this and this and there. I'm going to be there. Would you like to partner up? Is there something you got for me? And you don't want them to go like, yeah, that's not the type of personality that I want to associate with. And for me, I never want to be anybody but myself. I never want to be fake. I even want like the fans or the audience to engage with me and say, Brad is a normal mid-30s kind of guy. He's enjoying life, but there's a certain responsibility that goes with his lifestyle, because and you also want, because now recently brands would make contact with me and say, listen, can we try these products out? Would you mind doing this for me? Somebody says, I've got this this new business coming up. Would you mind just posting me and blah, 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 blah. And you want both companies and young entrepreneurs, especially in my case, young colored entrepreneurs from Paarl, who comes and say, listen, Brad, I've got this thing. Do you want to post? I want to be able to post them and then have them also be associated with a healthy public figure. You understand? This thing is difficult, man. This thing is not so easy.
Like, really, And you mentioned like when brands reaching out and doing like collaborations with brands. I feel like 2021 was a big year on like brand collaborations. You know, it's trying to get back into the system again and
Yeah.
trying the entertainment going on. In a nutshell, for you, can you describe how was your 2021 and tell us what is your biggest goal for 2022?
My 2021, to be honest with you, was a recovery year, man. I had to get back because before lockdown happened, we were in the process of producing our first feature film. We started writing, myself, my partner Solomon Kibedu, and then we were also working with Brett Michael Innes, who's an award-winning writer and director, producer as well, and with the Film Factory, who's got a reputation for producing quality Afrikaans films for well over a decade now. So that was exciting for us, and we couldn't, wait to get that started. Then boom, COVID happened. All right, and COVID came with all of the things that it came with. We are bound indoors. There are no gigs. Luckily, Binnelanders was still around, so at least we got that salary, and then we started going back and working. But everything was just like recovering, trying to go out to get MC gigs as soon as that window opened just a little bit, which was very difficult at the time, and then just trying to get the film back up, and also just trying to get back to a better mental and emotional state, because COVID rocked me because I live alone. So if it wasn't for lockdown heights that I created with Ayanda Mkai, I would have gone crazy in this apartment. You understand? So 2021 was really a recovery year, try to get back. And then 2022, end of 2021, things started going better. 2022 started off with a bang. Now I'm all over the country. I can't tell you how many flights I've been taking over the last couple of months, appearing here, appearing there, driving here, driving there, appearances, judging, emceeing, etc., etc., etc. Namibia back. And we've also started kicking off the film now, and we've got a lot of other projects now that we're like, okay, this is the time. We're pitching. We've got these things ready because we want to do this and this and that. So for me, my biggest thing for 2021 that I want to achieve is just to get that film done, because that's, a big lifelong passion. So we're in the process, and it still takes a long time. There's a lot of contracts to sort out. There's a lot of money that's not going to come to my pocket, but that I need to sign off, etc. So it's just getting that movie made. Myself and Lindsay, we wanna start a new play that we wanna go tour with, also maybe Namibia, just to give them that interaction with us as actors as well. So yeah, I just want to get all of my projects done in full flow, lining some stuff up to be shot next year, get contracts in order. So it's been a busy start, but I have no intention of slowing down for 2022, man.
That sounds so awesome. I mean, like you said, like the year started with a bang. You've been flying all over. I mean, people there's been requesting your time. You haven't even given. It sounds like you still need to give your time to your own projects, though. So you still have a lot in the bag. You're ready to bring on. But at the moment, it's just keeping you busy for now. Come over here, do that, and you have to do what you gotta do at the same time. How do you balance?
You have to be savvy and you have to be smart. And the thing is, I think the biggest thing I've learned is not to be greedy. That's the thing. Yes. Don't be greedy, because that's what's going to kill you. Even with RBS productions and with these workshops and emceeing and all of these things that I'm doing for them, there's so many other things they want me to be involved in. And I had to go and say, listen, I need to cap my work here and there and there. Yes, there's potential for more money, but at the end of the day, I still got other projects. I won't be able to split all of my attention between this and this and this and that just for the sake of making money. Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to make deadlines. My work is going to be half. I'm going to be fatigued all the time. I still have a daughter to think of that I have to raise. So I just can't be just chasing money all the time. So it's really a thing of having to be savvy with your time, with your money, and then also with your mental and emotional health. You really need to figure, very important. So, yeah, I would say for anybody in a position like that, when everything is just coming your way, dude, just don't be greedy. You know, money's not gonna solve and sort out everything. You need to be able to maintain a healthy, balanced life in general. You know, that would be my advice. Yeah.
No, that's good. It's good because like there was a time where I felt like whatever comes my way is meant for me and I'll take it, even if I don't have time, I'll take it. But like it could come across as also greedy, and could, like you're saying, like without measuring your own time, without measuring your own mental health, and without measuring all of those other things, that you could just be fatigued or dried out, and then you won't deliver properly. When you say yes, jobs, audience deliver properly because you're so tired or you're not in the right mental, emotional space. So,
and the biggest thing is when I do show up to those brainstorm meetings, when I do have to edit scripts, when I do have to submit a pitch, when I do have to be at the workshops, etc., or spend time with my daughter, that I am not there present in that moment, meaning I am not at my peak creative performance. I'm not at my peak parenting performance. So if that's the case, then people are not going to want to work with you anyway, because they expect you to always be fresh. So for me, I think it's a long-term frame of mind and thinking like, I can try to make all of this money now. I hurt my professional reputation, and then I don't make the big money on the long road. You understand?
Absolutely. Because now your reputation's ruined, because I know this guy, it's not easy to work with him, that kind of thing, and all of those things.
Yeah.
And so let's take it back to the beginning. Like, when did it all start for you? How did your passion for the industry happen? How old were you?
Man, I think I was 3, 4, or 5 years old. Do you see Bruce Lee here at the back?
Yeah.
You see Bruce? It's all Bruce Lee's fault. My cousin and I, when we were young, Leroy, we were like obsessed with action movies, man. Like, we were born in the 80s, so we were like very young in the 90s, and that time it was action, man. It was Van Damme's, Stallone, Schwarzenegger, Bruce Lee, and everything. But I remember watching Enter the Dragon over and over and over and over and again. And Bruce Lee just had such a different aura and energy. But I think we all know Bruce Lee, the person, as well. And we know how focused and contagious he was. And even at a young age, I was thinking, whatever Bruce Lee is doing, whatever that is, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. So yeah, it's just coming up. I was just obsessed with films. I was just obsessed with movies, and I knew like that is the direction that I want to go into. And during school, primary school, we used to always do, oral projects, everybody did. And I found out that my oral projects are always entertaining. The students would always enjoy when I would come up and talk about anything, because I would just come with a different energy, and I would kind of like demand their attention, where others would go up and stutter or cry or just be boring or read. I would always try to make mine exciting. And that's when I knew, like, you know what, if I really want to do this, then I think I actually have a shot. So then New Orleans Senior Secondary was the only school in Paarl who offered drama as a full-time subject. Luckily for me, I also lived close to the school, so I went to go audition, and then I got accepted, and that was the start. From here on outwards, there's many turns that brought me to this point that we will explore, I'm sure. But yeah, that's where my passion started early on. Film, oral in school, and then the opportunity to actually take on drama as a subject. Mind you, I was actually kicked out of the drama class. That was standard 6, standard 7. Standard 7, I was actually kicked out of the drama class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, have you ever been like fired from a job? Have you ever been like fired from a job, or like, wow, like, oh my word?
Yeah, I have been fired from a job. I worked at Checkers, right? Just before I went to college. Like um, after matric, that December, I went to go work at Checkers, Lady Grey Street, Paarl. And I worked there for 3 days. And on the third day, I got 2 warnings on the same
What?
day. And I got fired, man. Two
What?
warnings on the same day. I
What
kid
were,
you
what
not,
were you
3 days.
doing? What were you doing?
Listen, my first transgression was that I was hungry. We didn't clock out, so my friend Charles and I we went to the fisheries. You know, this is so typical colored, but anyway, we went to the fisheries and they were closed, and we tried to talk to them. It's like, come on, just open up. We just want one fish parcel. And when we turned around, the manager was standing there, looking at us, and we didn't sign out. I went up, signed a warning, went back to work, but I'm still hungry. So now we are packing, and we're pushing everything else back into the storeroom, whatever's broken. And then there it was, an open pack of Masaris lamb-flavored potato chips. Oh, man. So I reached in and I grabbed a couple of chips, you know. Next thing I know, security guard taps me on my shoulder. I turn around and they say, don't say anything, just come with me. I went back to the manager's office and it was like, you here again. It's like, it hasn't even been an hour. Signed my second warning, boom, fired. Take your stuff, go home. Because of chips, because I was hungry.
Shame.
Fired.
Yeah, I thought you were
Fired,
some
man.
like wild kid, like, yeah, throwing stuff around, swaying at customers. No, you were just hungry, shame.
I was just hungry,
Nice.
man. I was a good kid.
And listen, with you branching out into like being producing and like starting to writing and doing all of that, you know, and also taking your emceeing a lot seriously, when did that all happen for you?
My emceeing started actually happening in Joburg as a means to make money, you know, on the side, you know. Going in emceeing was never like, this is the type of thing that I want to do. I started with Leroy Gopal. Leroy Gopal, he actually gave me like my first shot at emceeing because he saw we had the same agency and we worked together, and he thought like, okay, he's got a cool energy. And then he introduced me to a team building company. You know, this is many moons ago. And that's when I started honing my emceeing skills, big crowds, leading big crowds, etc. And obviously from the team building, it goes over into everything else, you know, to other corporate events, to emceeing shows, a wedding here and there, a party here and there. And then eventually myself and my other friend, we started a karaoke company, myself and my friend Stone. And then I started emceeing karaoke all over the place. And then that's just, you know, one thing led to another. And then I just started emceeing whatever you want emceed. I'll be there. You know? So it was really a means of a side hustle that kind of became a profession later. In terms of writing and producing, that just stemmed from my passion of wanting to make films. You know, I think all actors have this dream of, I want to be in movies. Whatever they are doing in Hollywood, we want to do. Of course, the reality is completely different. But then I started, you know, training myself, because I went to go study drama. I didn't study filmmaking. I didn't study writing. I didn't study producing. I didn't go to AFDA. I went to theater school. But so over the years, I just started educating myself, you know, buying books on script writing, you know, the formatting, structure of stories, you know, working within certain genres. Of course, YouTube offers the world's tutorials. I would watch making of movie documentaries. I would watch talks with directors, with writers, and that's just how I started educating myself on how to format screenplays, what the major beats are, fleshing out characters, etc., etc., etc. So I suppose you could say I'm self-taught. And then obviously, when it came to the point where I'm starting to write now and people are reading my stuff, that's also when you realize that you actually don't know nothing. You know, You don't know as much as you think you do. But that is the best way to learn. You start writing, and then producers would read and say, nah, go this way, go that way, consider this, consider that. And then just, luckily for me, Film Factory with Dani and Dries, they were so willing to take myself and Solomon under their wing, and mentor us within, that sphere of producing and writing. And we just learn from the best, man. And they have really helped us and gave us a certain platform to work from and to learn from, that we are now at a point where, one, we are getting paid to write our script, and two, Kyk-Net are actually sending briefs out to us, to our company, to say, listen, these are the shows or the films that we are looking at. If you guys have anything, please pitch, because now we have a certain kind of reputation with them, even though our film hasn't been produced yet. But now we are in those circles where we can Zoom with the CEs of Mnet, etc., etc. So that's how all of that came about.
Awesome stuff. And listen, so like you've mentioned earlier on, that you really started at a very young age. You've always been passionate about acting and drama and all of that. And I know a lot with the older generation, it wasn't always easy for them to understand our passion, because we came at things were a lot different. Opportunities were a lot different for us. Did you ever have like challenges in the household with what you wanted to pursue and what your parents maybe wanted, the direction that they wanted you to go?
Never. I'm so lucky. Never had any of those problems. And, from a young age, my father and my mother knew that I have this kind of imagination, because I'm 6 years older than my nearest sibling, than my brother. So there was a lot of time coming up when I would spend time alone and I would play alone, and they could always see like I am just crazy about movies.
Yes.
My dad would never mind if he had money. He would always give me money to go rent movies. I would even sometimes take 1.5 cold drink bottles and beer bottles, and then I would walk with them for like a kilometer, and then I would ask maybe an adult by the bottle store to take them in and trade them in for money for me, so I can get a 5 rand, so I can go to the superstore next door, so I can rent movies from Greg, So
Wow.
yeah, but my father, even more than my mother, my father was the most supportive with this thing. But I think what he didn't realize was that there's no big riches waiting for us. There's fame, but there's not a lot of riches waiting for us. So my father and I's passion ran adjacent. He was passionate about me pursuing this. I'm passionate about pursuing this without us researching, what the financial lives are like and the livelihoods of South African actors. So he didn't talk sense into my head. He gave me the fire that I needed. You understand? During high school and then doing Love Life, national and interprovincial stuff, they would help me stage shows. Like we would take things from our house. We would drive in our car. My father would help me set things up. He would print posters for me at work so I can go put it up and stuff like that. So I got 100% support from my family in this journey, and hopefully they don't regret it. My father's not around anymore, and I think where I am now would have even made him even more proud. But he's actually also the one. Sorry, there was a national Rapport competition because Rosa was looking for fresh faces, and I was studying at the time. And he said, you have to go audition for this, and I'm like, no, I don't do talent shows. I'm a real actor. I take myself seriously. I don't do talent search nonsense. And he pressed and he pressed and he pressed, and I said, okay, cool, I'm gonna do it for you. I don't want to do it, but I'm gonna do it for you. Lo and behold, I got the part. That was my first television appearance, and I was still studying, and I got like 6 calls on Villa Rosa. So yeah, really big ups to my dad, man. Big ups. Yeah.
Respect. And I know,
Oh, yeah.
like you're probably like, I mean, were you like the only autistic one among your friends growing up?
Among my friends, yeah. Yeah, I was the only one. All of us, we used to love watching movies, but nobody took it as seriously as I did. So I think my friends also knew that that was probably going to be my life. That was probably going to be my career.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was only me. Solomon later came to drama class in standard 9. Yeah, I'm speaking in standards, man. I'm so old.
Way back,
um, way back, man. And then yeah, from there onwards, it was Solomon and I. But mostly, yeah, mostly everybody was more sport inclined, I suppose.
So you kind of like had to like basically carve out your existence or carve out your identity most of the time with social groups and that kind of things. And I mean like like I come from an area where we sometimes growing up you were faced with challenges like drug abuse, gangsterism, poverty, and also low self-esteem, especially with the peer pressure thing going on. Did you face any of those challenges in your community?
Dude, I grew up on a prison complex. My father was a warden, Allendale,
Okay.
Correctional Services in Paarl. Obviously, the wardens could also live on the
Yes,
premises.
yes.
So that was my life. I grew up surrounded by prisoners, literally. Wherever I
Yeah.
walk, the prisoners are there. And then I was also at New Orleans Primary School and then as well New Orleans Secondary School. And
Yeah.
opposite the secondary school and not too far from the primary school is a infamous neighborhood known as Chicago in Paarl. And Chicago is like known for, especially back in the 90s. I mean, drugs and that was like real gangsters, not these gangsters that's TikToking now. I'm talking real gangsters. you
Yeah.
know, I was on primary school with gangsters. On primary school. In standard 5, there was a gangster named Randy. We called him Vit Randy. And he had a tattoo on the back of his neck that said Op pad tronk toe, like on my way to jail. We stand at 5, bro. We stand at 5. He ended up in that prison that I stayed on many a times. And then him and I would have conversations, him through the bar. I'm talking to a classmate that's in jail. We've been mugged and robbed many a time. So, like interactions with gangsters was like almost on the daily, right? Friends that time started smoking mandrax, wit pipe with the weed mixed with the mandrax and stuff like that. So growing up, I was surrounded by gangsterism. I was surrounded by drugs. I was surrounded by prisoners. My father's best friend at the time, Uncle Hein, he had a tavern in Chicago. So I would go there with my dad frequent, and we would hear gunshots all the time, And then my dad and I would sometimes go there, and he would have a couple of drinks, and I would be the only kid playing with all these adults shooting pool. And then my dad and I would walk back home, and we would walk through gangsters, literally through gangsters. But they didn't do anything to him because they know he's a warden and they frequent the jail, So I was surrounded by all of the cliches that comes with brown hoods, surrounded by it. It was my life. Yeah. Luckily for me, that kind of lifestyle never enticed me. For most of us, I know sometimes that's the stereotype, but for most of us, we try to live around it. That life and that lifestyle is actually in the minority. It's just that all of us are exposed to it, but not all of us are enticed to go down that road, even though we have lost a couple of friends to gangsterism, lost a couple of friends to drugs. That is true. But for the most part, we come from a community who wants to do good, who wants to be better, you know, who wants to excel. And then you have all of these bad apples. So it actually wasn't difficult for me to rise above that, because most of my peers, most of the people that I know aren't like that. The rest are just the minority, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
What a life.
I mean, wasn't that like kind of like traumatizing for you to experience all of those gangsters around you when you were young? Or were you kind of like used to it because it was just an environment, you know, and you knew like, okay, this is where I never want to be?
A bit of both, you know. One, you are used to it. Everybody's used to it. And
Yeah.
two, yes, it is traumatizing. I mean, I'm 10 years old. I'm wearing a tracksuit. I'm walking from my friend's place to my place, and they rob my tracksuit. You know, they
Yeah.
take the pants and they take the jacket, and there I'm walking home in my undies, crying. I'm 10 years old, 11 maybe. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, of course, that's traumatizing. Many times we've been mugged. Many times we've been in situations when you're a kid and now these guys are walking with you and you know that they are unsavory. And if you have anything that they will take it, and you're thinking like, please, Lord, just not now. Don't let anything happen to me now. Or we are conscious of not walking this way, rather walking that way, because you know, you never know when anything can happen. Many interactions with gangsters, many times when we've had to run, many close encounters, many, damn, this guy's got a knife, you gotta be cool, don't be cocky. Of course that is traumatizing, but at the same time it
Yes.
has happened so often that those are the kind of things that you start putting in community plays and you start making jokes about it. But by no means is that any environment for any child to grow up in.
Yeah.
Yes, I've survived it. I don't have nightmares about it. But at the time, yo, it's some of the worst experiences I've had, man. You know, you're a kid. The big boys walking around with knives here next to you. Anything can happen to you. Whatever they want, you give, and you walk home crying. Yeah, no, that's not
Absolutely.
lucky, buddy. That's
Yeah.
not nice.
No. No. Wow. Hectic. Really, really hectic.
Yeah.
I
Hectic.
mean, like, and in your like your acting career, was it ever like a time where you just felt like, you know what, I'm done, you know, I just want to hang up the boots, take a break, and just need some time for myself? Do you ever have those moments where you felt like just giving up on everything? And if you did,
Yes.
what did you do to
Many
kind of like bring you back to your power?
Many times I considered quitting, wanting to do other things. Maybe I should go work in a bank. Maybe I should do this, whatever the case may be. Many times I've had to go back to Paarl and go back home for a couple of months. Nothing's happening in Joburg. But one time I actually did quit acting and I went to go do office automation, you know, as a sales rep. Um, I had my daughter on the way, and I wasn't working as much as I wanted to, and I was thinking, no, I can't raise a child like this. Let me rather go find something. A friend of mine gave me a job, but I sucked as a salesman, man. I'm a terrible salesman. I sell emotions. I don't sell machines. You know,
Yeah.
I don't I don't sell internet, man. I sell
Yeah.
emotions. I'm an actor.
That's it.
um,
Yeah.
yeah,
After you
and
sell something, people actually applaud you.
yeah. I did that job for I think 4 months or something. And in that time, I actually tried to quit 3 times. One, it was not what I wanted to do. I'm not good at this. I'm not doing what I want to do. I actually started becoming miserable, you know? And then I was like, even before Kiara was born, I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do this job. I'm gonna quit. So I quit the job. When Kiara was born, I actually wasn't working. I quit at the best time, you know. After that, I started doing gigs again, and everything was fine. She was okay. She's taken care of. Luckily, I've got a lot of friends, and those baby shower things helped. Um, 5 months later, I landed a part on Hope. All right, cool. So now I'm pulling a salary again. Now I'm an actor working regularly. I'm one of the leading cast. Binnelanders came back at the time, and I was shooting between Hope and Binnelanders, Hope and Binnelanders, Hope and Binnelanders. Binnelanders said, now we want you permanently. Luckily, not luckily, unfortunately, Hope closed down because of production issues. And then Binnelanders offered me a full-time contract. And I've been working ever since. And Kiara never had a problem financially since then. So quitting that job was the best thing that I could have done. But also having quit acting just before taking on that job was also such a big lesson, because that also made me realize, like, this is actually really what I want to do. And that is when I really started doing more, and I wanted to start more, and I wanted to start doing more than just acting. So it was also like a big life lesson. Yeah, it was like a blessing in disguise, actually.
Any mentors, like, did you have any mentors along the way that kind of walked in your life? At what point did your mentors walk in your life? And are you mentoring anyone, or have you mentored anyone?
Well, I hope this doesn't disappoint you, but I actually can't pinpoint any one specific mentor that I've had. You know what? Me personally, I'm really a kind of guy who goes his own way, who carves his own way, and I'm kind of like a one-man show, so to speak. And I've always grown up like that. You know, I'm very adventurous in spirit, you know. So I really try to find things for myself, carve out my own way of thinking, not falling into the pitfall of taking on somebody else's thinking just for the sake of this person is older than me. I was like, no, you know, just because you're older and you have certain life experiences, that doesn't necessarily mean that it will apply to me, you know, personally. Yes. So I've never sought out any mentor figure in my life. Having said that, I do have the ability to learn from other people, you know. So I've learned from so many people in my life. My father, I've learned a lot of things of what to do and also what not to do, you know. Friends of mine, I've learned from. Industry professionals I've learned from, and I've expanded my thinking and my reading. So I would read different kinds of writings. So I would tap into different ways of looking at the world from different vantage points, you know, and not only in acting, I mean, you know, sciences or philosophy or religion or whatever. So I've kind of like soaked up all of this information through reading, through interaction, through my personal experiences in life. And I've kind of like, you know, carved my own way. And as a result, you know, a lot of young people have come up to me to kind of be like a mentor figure in their life, but I can't be that person because I never seek out those type of personalities, you know. So I would always encourage people. I would never discourage people from having mentorship, leaders in their lives. I know that works for a lot of friends of mine. So I can't mentor anyone, considering that I am such a one-man show when it comes to my philosophies and when it comes to my thinking. I'm very like adventurous. In my 20s, I used to travel a lot, and I would just go. Sometimes I would just go. I don't know what I'm going to find. Many times I've almost been dead on the road many times, but I would always go out and seek out adventure. And I don't like tour guides, you know, when I go travel. I don't want people telling me where to go, where not to go. I want to go find out for myself. I want to build my own experience, you know, regardless of whether I come close to death or not. I suppose I just always had this thing of, I kind of want to be in control of my own destiny, of my own mind. So I don't want anybody else to look up to and say, that is the person I'm trying to model myself after. Yeah, that's just never been me. And of course, in a way, my life experiences has also been, you know, a mentoring factor in my life. Made many mistakes like anybody else. Luckily for me, I think, or I believe that I do learn from them, you know. So yeah, man, this solo show called Bradley. Let me do my thing, man. Leave me alone. Don't touch me. Let me do my thing. Let me walk, mama. Let me walk. You know.
Okay, so for
Yeah.
my final question for you, Bradley, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and thank you for sharing your story. I really enjoyed learning about you so much through your story. But here's my final question for you. I want to put you in my time machine, and I want to take you back to the very, very young Bradley who just walked into all of this, who never knew what's going to happen, you know. And it's the version of you that you see today. And you have 5 minutes to give him a bit of advice or a bit of knowledge. What would that knowledge be?
Play Powerball regularly.
Sorry?
As I
Could you
play
repeat that?
Powerball more regularly. um, honestly, and I really hope this doesn't sound vain or anything. I would, I would actually just tell him to continue to be you, continue to be yourself. I wouldn't want to spoil the show for him. I wouldn't want to spoil the twists and the turns and the scares and the good times and the bad times. I wouldn't want to put anything in his mind that's going to block him from
Yeah.
experiencing the life that I have experienced. You know, so if I had 5 minutes with him, I would I would encourage him to keep following his own heart, to keep following his own mind, to follow his own direction, without spoiling anything else. And if that means that that guy turns out completely different to the guy that's sitting here in front of you, it's fine as long as he followed his own way, carved out his own path, made his own mistake, was his own person. Um, so I wouldn't tell him not to do certain things. Yeah. I hope
Absolutely.
that
Now,
I, I really I really hope that that doesn't sound vain because dude, I've had a colorful life, man. I've seen beautiful things. I've had beautiful experiences. I've experienced beautiful people. I've experienced terrible people. And all of those things, all of the hardships, all of the good times, all of the heartbreaks, I've also experienced. All of that um, made me who I am today, and I have no regrets. So I wouldn't want to deprive him even from the bad times because the bad times build character, man.
good. No, no, I fully understand that. I fully understand it because there's lessons in everything and we learn from those lessons essentially.
Exactly.
So can you please tell us, like, finally, before we sign off, as we sign off, can you tell us what are your social handles? Where can people follow you? How can we get in touch with you? Just be in touch with your journey and what you're doing. What's next? Because we're looking forward to those projects
Um,
that you're going to be.
yeah, so am I. So you guys can follow me on Instagram at Bradley underscore Olivier. The same on Facebook at Bradley Olivier. That's my page. And if you want to be a personal friend of mine on Facebook and really see what's going on in my mind, because that's when I put up the statuses and you can really tell what kind of personality I am. You can just search for Bradley Terence Olivier, and hopefully I will accept your friend request. But
Amazing stuff.
follow
Thank you
me
so much.
follow me on the socials. I hope to be entertaining, and what you will find is really just a genuine guy who's just living his own life without any celebrity concepts about himself. So there's no vanity going into that. And yeah, guys, when you see me share some work and some projects, please support, please come watch, please share, and then hopefully most of you guys I will meet along the way. And thank you. You've been a great host, man. I've been so comfortable talking to you. This is the kind of conversations that I really love. Thank you so much, Mr. Big L, to you and to Saskia, and all the best for the future, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you, really. And like you said, I hope that we can share the stage one day, whether it be acting
Yeah,
or what. But yeah, thank you so much for your time and your beautiful story, man. I've learned so much from
thanks,
you.
man.
I've learned so much about your spirit, your soul, and just how you work and everything like that. So thank you for sharing everything. You've really made
You're
episode
welcome,
2
man.
what it is to be the price of fame. Thank you so much. May you
Lekker,
have a
brother.
lovely evening further, and good night to you.
Likewise, bro. All right. Peace.
Cheers. Bye.
Away.
All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is it from me, and that is it from Mr. Bradley. I keep on saying Bradley Oliver, but it's actually Bradley Olivier. All right, like I said the last time, we've also extended another link where you few more links where you can find more of the Price of Fame. But if you'd like to follow me, you can catch me at Facebook, that is Lunga Tshuka, the Energizer Funny, on Instagram, that is at Lunga Tshuka. For exclusive snippets of the Price of Fame, you can go also to the Instagram page, that is the Price of Fame _ ZA, or no, it's just the Price of Fame ZA, sorry, no underscore, just the Price of Fame ZA. And then if you'd like to listen to the audios of all the episodes, especially from season 1 up to season 2 going to be, you can catch it on Apple, Spotify, as well as Anchor FM. And while you're Anchor FM, you can send us your voice notes. Let us know what you think about the show. Let us know who you'd like to see on the show. Holla at me. My name is Lunga Tshuka. It's been a pleasure hosting tonight's episode. And this is The Price of Fame.